Hello everyone.
Hi,
My name's Rachel,
I'm Krishna.
and this is
Things we don't talk about at the dinner table.
Okay. So we're both juniors. We live in the northeastern region. We're not going to disclose where exactly.
Don't want to get killed yet.
And we're both very opinionated people, and so we both decided why not record our opinions and just share them.
Yeah, so we're interested in two completely different things, so that's why we thought this was so cool. I'm interested in engineering, she's interested in
Law.
we both love these two things so much. It's both of our passions, and we really just wanted to show how our two different opinions and our two different viewpoints on things don't have to constantly contradict, and it can actually get along sometimes.
So, since this is our first episode, we wanted to keep it not too convoluted, like something pretty light. So let's talk about the American education system. Okay, I'm gonna let Krishna take this one because she's been in dire need of a rant today.
So
So,
this Saturday I have my first ever SAT, and I can tell you right now how much I absolutely hate that SAT. And I hate everything having to do with standardized testing. I hate the idea of it. I hate doing it. I hate having to study for it. It's horrible.
Right.
What are your opinions?
oh my god, I've been studying for the SATs for a really long time, so now it's like kind of ingrained in me. It is what it is.
So the thing that I hate about it so much is just the fact that we're studying so much all the time for a test.
Right.
And this test is supposed to have such a heavy weight in our heart about it.
Right.
And it's just horrible because you can make mistakes all the time. Like, I'm a horrible test taker, I'll tell you that right now. I'm really good at hands-on projects. I'm really good at things like doing things with my hands and like doing projects with people. Like, I'm really good at that, but the one thing I can tell you I'm horrible at is taking tests. So having to rely on like this one test score that's going to somehow determine how smart I am to
Right.
colleges, like, it's so annoying.
Right.
Yeah.
And something that I've noticed in quite a few high schools is that obviously the SATs do matter a lot because they play a heavy role in your admissions process into a college. And I find that a lot of students often take these scores and use it to compare themselves to other students, and of course, like, the SAT doesn't mean everything, but there are a lot of students who take the SAT seriously, and sometimes they feel horrible about themselves when they heard that like someone got a really good score, and then sometimes they'll like take their scores and then see someone else's score and go, oh, I mean, I did better than them. I feel that the SATs, I mean, yeah, they're important, but it also does cause some competition among students, right? Among students that it could be healthy, but I feel most of the time is not healthy
Right.
competition.
Yeah, and it's just like we put so much weight on these scores. It's like I have 1600. Like, people judge you so much for it, and it's always really annoying.
Right.
And like I feel like I'm more scared of that than I am of actually getting a bad score. Like, at the end of the day, if I don't get a good score, is it just negating all the smartness that I have?
Exactly.
Like, no, it's
Exactly.
not at all. It's just different because when I take tests personally, I'll tell you something right now. Like, I don't take it to the best of my ability. I play it like a game, okay?
Right.
I play it so that it's like, I'm like, okay, if this question I can get right, then this other question I don't need to get right because I got this one right.
Right,
So
right. Me
like,
too.
but you can't do that on a SAT because every
Yeah.
single question matters, so you can't even make one mistake. And I'm a human being that makes a lot of mistakes, like a lot.
It's like that though. It's like that.
Oh my god. Yeah, and it's just really annoying. Another thing is just that, like, my grades aren't gonna be what my SAT score is. Because my
Right.
grades can be super good because it's like a culmination of all the projects and every assignment and everything that you've done. But it's not gonna be the same as my stupid test score. And now I have to
Exactly.
take time out of my day to do these questions that don't even matter. Like, we're both in calculus right now. Like, why do we need to be caring about stupid
Algebra 2.
yeah, honestly, not even that. It's like, what's y plus 2 is equal to 3? What's x? Like, what? Like, why? Who cares?
Right. It's stuff
ridiculous.
that obviously like every student should know by the end of their high school careers. but I find that with the SATs, students tend to stress a lot about it. And I mean, I can speak from personal experience. Whenever I study for the SATs, I mean, I'm not happy. It's not like an amazing experience.
Exactly.
Like I'm having
You're
a
not
lot
like
of fun.
Yeah,
doing.
you're not like smiling while you're doing these stupid reading passages. Like,
wow, I
ridiculous.
love my life. But I just find that sometimes I feel like students can misconstrue their worth as a student and their intelligence because of the SAT score that they get.
Yeah.
And they
100%.
right, and like Krista mentioned, sometimes your scores, obviously they do reflect how much you can analyze and how much you know, but I mean sometimes maybe it wasn't a good day, like maybe it just wasn't a good setting.
Dude,
like
every
the time.
single time I sit down to take this stupid SAT, I never am in a good mood. Like,
Exactly.
I'm a very firm believer that you should spend time doing things that make you happy, and you
Right.
shouldn't waste time on things that are gonna look good to other people, like the SAT.
Right, I agree,
Like,
I agree.
what the hell? Like, the stupid SAT. It's ridiculous. It's like doing the SAT is equivalent to joining a club that you don't care about, but you just want to put it on your college application.
Right.
Like National Honor Society. Every freaking person on the entire planet is the National Honor Society. Like, if you don't care about it, then no one should be able to join it.
Right.
Really shouldn't.
And I also find that there are institutions out there who take advantage of like these students' this worry, and they're like, hey, pay a few thousand and we'll like guarantee you a 1,600. I mean,
Don't get me started on prep classes, okay? They piss me off for two reasons. One of them is the one she's gonna expand on right now, and number two is the other reason I'll tell you after I calm down a little bit.
but I will say I do attend prep classes, so like I'm not trying to be like a sanctimonious person and be like, oh, like I'm above these people when I do the exact same thing that they do. But I find that when students take these prep classes, it gives them like an unfair advantage that students who maybe don't have that much of a family income can afford, and it also it's I don't know how to word this in a PC way, but it's almost as if like a competition among students, like who can pay the most.
Yep.
And of course, like in the society that we have, obviously if you want to get further along, money is obviously going to be like a really big factor as to
Capitalism.
exactly as to like how far you can get. That's just something that we can't necessarily change about our society, and that's just the way things are. But I find that basically it's like, as parents of children who are taking the SATs, you're like throwing your money at these institutions because you want your student to get like the best score ever, which like I mean that's your right as a parent. But once again, that's just like contributing to a system where it's like you pay money, you take the SAT, you aren't satisfied with your SAT score, you go back to the institution, you pay money. It's like it's an endless cycle of just you're throwing money at people.
Yeah. And the fact that people even have to pay money for things like that, like if I don't work because I have a very good reason for not working, I'm telling you. It's not because I'm lazy, that's another reason. I don't work because I like to focus on my schoolwork. Like, I want to make sure that my grades are good. I want to make sure that I'm learning the material that's being, like, given to me. But if I were to tell you, if I were to work and I was making an actual paycheck, I would put $0 towards a stupid SAT class. Because, number one, it's an unfair advantage, like you said.
Right,
It's horrible.
right.
Number two, it's SAT. You could be putting the same amount of money that you put into an SAT class into things like science camp, or to things like a scholarship or like a summer program or something. Like, it's so much more worth your money to do that type of stuff than putting it into an SAT class. And the fact that people are even like thinking about that, it's insane.
Right.
Like, I hate it. And the other thing that I was gonna mention is the same thing that Rachel said. Like, what about the people that don't have money? What about the people that don't have extra money to spare to put into stupid things like that? Like, it's the SAT. It's not like actual real life problems.
Right.
Like, it's not like you're giving me a meal. Like, giving me a meal is not the same thing as giving someone an SAT class. Like, it's insane.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so, when we say this, we're not trying to like suggest like a revolution happen in America. It's just our opinions on something that is pretty hard to change because, as we mentioned before, you can do what you want with your money.
Yep.
It's your entitlement. It's not like you have a control by the government over what you can do with the money that you make. But the fact that these institutions kind of take advantage of that, and they kind of feed on like the fears of parents and students, and they charge you a few thousand for just a few weeks, I think that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. I think it's also another thing, like, I think it teaches kids and parents something that is so shallow to the point that people actually think it's okay to be doing it.
Right.
Like, if you see on an, like, I'll tell you my personal experience. Like, sometimes I do see, like, in my emails or, like, in, like, YouTube videos that I'm watching, because I'm always on Khan Academy for SAT, like, videos like, oh, pay this much amount of money and you'll get a 1,500 or higher, 1,400 or higher.
Right.
And I'm just thinking, I'm like, does my score matter that much that people are willing to pay money for? Because money is something that's just so, like, I'm so passionate about the amount of money that people have. That's why I care so much about getting a good job and, like, making money to support my family in the future and everything. And just the fact that people are willing to waste that on SAT classes, like, I can't believe people even feel the need in their heart to ask their parents for that, because it's just like, you care about the SAT, you care about one test so much, which is information that you'll probably never use in your whole life anyway. Like, we just got to calculus, and, like, for me, especially as, like, an engineering major, like, calculus is gonna be everything soon, very soon.
Right.
So, like, just to know that, like, I'm doing stupid math that doesn't matter, which helps me in calculus 100%. It helps me in calculus, but, like, calculus is the math that you're gonna use in your real life.
Well, another point on these parents spending money for sending their kids to tutoring. Sometimes these kids don't want to go to tutoring. Like, sometimes these kids want to spend their weekdays after school not cooped up in some tutoring place, spending their evening where they should be relaxing from spending 7 hours at school, just studying. Because, I mean, I don't mean to be woe is me, but it's hard. It's not an easy job to be a student. I think no matter where you go, it's not an easy job to be a student. So when you spend 7 hours in a day in school studying, and you spend, give or take, maybe an hour taking a break, I feel like if you force a student to go to tutoring right after that, it creates an unhealthy mentality. Right, where you're incentivizing your child to think work, virtually no play, and just keep working.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a bad thing to be a hardworking person. That's not what we're trying to shame at all. But the problem starts when you are being forced into things that you don't necessarily want to do for the sole sake of a score. I know the score is important, but students should be allowed to have lives outside of school and outside of standardized testing and outside of college admissions and outside of all of those things. And I feel that when parents are forcing their students to get into these tutoring places, it breeds an unhealthy mentality in these students.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, I had friends who would tell me that, like, at the end of their day, the things that they have to do after school, like, here's this one girl, for example, like, she told me last year that she had school for 7 hours, number one. After school, she had, like, 7 hours, gas, 3 or 4 meetings for, like, different clubs and stuff, so, like, some taking place at some time slots, and then at the end of the day, after countless hours of so much work and so much effort, at 7 o'clock, from 7 to 9, she would go to ACT classes. Ridiculous. And then at 9 o'clock, she would get home and then do her 10 hours of homework. Which is, I know it sounds like ridiculous, but, like, in a school where you get so much work and you get basically no time to be yourself.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
It breeds you to just, like, constantly study and not know what it's like to actually have a life outside of studying. And
basically, you get no sleep, you turn into a zombie and you die. Like,
exactly.
there's nothing else.
And then it teaches students to not necessarily have real life experiences. Like, it doesn't teach them to go out there and try new things. It doesn't teach them to like interact with people and know what it's like to like be a team player, know what it's like to be a leader, know what it's like to like actually develop experiences that will help you in the long run. And so like that's why this leads into like a much bigger issue that like I don't want to touch on just yet. But
For another episode.
for another episode. But I feel like that plays a role in admissions, which these students are so concerned about. Yeah, you might have a 4.0. Yeah, you might get the 1600 or 36. And like, applause to you, that's nothing to sniff at. But that being
Who are
said,
you at the end of the day?
right, exactly. Like, you might have all these numbers, but at the end of the day, you can always get a 1600, but you can't get a personality.
Right. Wow, that was really powerful, dude. That was really good. Because that's so true. That's so true. At the end of the day, like, yeah, you taught yourself how to master a test. You taught yourself how to get a basic grade. You turned yourself into a robot. Like, who are you at the end of the day?
Right.
Seriously, like, if I asked you what your favorite color is, would you say SAT? Like, are you kidding me? It's ridiculous.
But yeah, this episode was kind of a rant on SATs and ACTs and how they affect students'
lives.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's it for today.
Yep.
We apologize for the setting. We know it's not the best setting ever. We initially planned another location, but that location happened to be closed. So
Give us a break. It's our first episode.
so that's it for today. And
Leave a comment down below if you also hate the SAT, if you want to complain about it. Like, we're ready to read them.
And if you have other opinions that don't necessarily align with us, like, definitely leave them. Like, we want to hear what
Connect
people
to the
think.
community.
Yeah, exactly. We want to hear what other people have to say. So thank you for watching our very angry rant.
And
See you.
tune in for more.
Right. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.